In today's story, we present a unique tale from the perspective of the affair partner Ted. Hi! I'm Ted, a 28-year-old doctor, and I'm currently single. My profession keeps me incredibly busy, often with long and demanding hours at the hospital. Although I'm passionate about my work, it leaves me with little time to focus on my personal life, particularly in terms of dating and building relationships. Given my limited free time, I occasionally find myself at small bars, hoping to meet someone special. These cozy and relaxed settings offer a brief escape from the demands of my job. I enjoy engaging in conversations with new people, eagerly searching for that connection with a woman who shares my interests and values. While small bars may not be the most traditional place to find a potential partner, I believe that meaningful connections can be formed in unexpected places. One evening at the bar I usually visit, I met Kathy. She was a beautiful 32-year-old woman who caught everyone's eye. She had a perfect body, and when I saw her I skipped a heartbeat. I was sitting alone, taking a break from my work as a doctor, enjoying a drink. Unbeknownst to me, Kathy was there with her friends. She kept looking at me now and then, which caught my attention. I gathered some courage and walked up to Kathy and offered a drink. Her friends gave out some catcalls, but Kathy did not bother and walked with me and sat with me. We started talking, beginning with smiles and glances. As the night went on, our conversations got deeper. We talked about our lives, what we loved, and our dreams. I noticed that we had a strong connection, not just in how we felt about each other, but also in our personalities and values. As we talked, the noise in the bar and the presence of her friends didn't matter. It felt like destiny had brought us together. Our conversation was easy, and it was clear that we had something special. Kathy's friends were starting at us, which was making me a bit uneasy, but I did not bother. When the night ended, we exchanged phone numbers and promised to see each other again. Next day I could not concentrate at my work and kept thinking about Kathy and when I would meet her next. Eventually, I could not contain myself and texted her for a meeting. To my surprise, she said yes and agreed to meet in the evening at the same bar. Post my shift, I rushed to the bar and realized that I was an hour ahead of our scheduled time. I waited for her and there she appeared. She was stunning and I almost lost my senses. She was wearing a black dress and her curves were all for my eyes to feel. I almost stammered when she came and said hi. We started with our usual drinks, and after a few drinks I could see that Kathy was a bit tipsy and there was something unusual about her eyes. I was talking when she put her finger on my lips and said,
"I think you need to rest your lips. They can be busy later."
I was stunned and almost lost my breath. She held my hand and asked me where did I park my car. We walked to my car and once we sat in my car, she was all over me. I asked her to wait and said that my house is a 2-minute drive from here. She sat down and drove straight to my house. Once at my house, it was all chaos. She was fierce and intense. I have dated twice and been intimate with my partners, but this was nothing I had ever experienced. I was down like I had been hit by a truck. Suddenly Kathy got up and dressed up and kissed me and just left. I felt that it was a bit odd, but did not bother as I was not in a condition to think a lot. The next event we went to the bar again, and this time once we reached home, she brought handcuffs and tied me to the bedpost. I was shocked and was a bit scared as well, but it was awesome. Once again all of a sudden Kathy got dressed, untied me and walked away. This continued for a few more days, and every time once we were done Kathy used to just leave. I was a bit lost and at times got the feeling that I am just a toy. Kathy never told me where she lives, where she works if she does. Where is her family? I knew nothing as yet. For me this was now getting a bit awkward. The next day after we were done, I asked Kathy to stay back. She looked back at me and kissed me and just said,
"Not tonight."
She left again. The next day, once she left, I secretly followed her. She took a cab to a quiet suburban part of the city. She walked in a decent-sized house. I parked a distance and quietly walked towards the house. What I saw was shocking. She went in and I could see her in the arms of another man. They were kissing each other and it seemed that they were more than dating. I was furious and totally distraught. I returned home and just lay on my bed. My mind was spinning with questions. Why was Kathy with that man? Who is that man? What is Kathy's relationship with me? Next day I called my hospital and asked for a 5-day leave for an emergency at home. I drove to Kathy's home. I saw that man drive out with Kathy kissing him goodbye from the door. I followed the man to his workplace and he walked into an engineering firm. I went home and saw that Kathy texted me to meet her again in the evening. I told her that I was in the hospital with some emergency and would not be able to meet her today. I had to control my emotions so as to not let Kathy know that I was onto her. At this very dark moment, I went to the only friend I have, Bill. Bill and I have been friends since we were in school. We did our school together and have been buddies ever since. I called him and he came to my place. I told him everything. On hearing everything he was furious, but all of a sudden burst out laughing at me. He called me a simp and toy boy. He further berated me, calling me all sorts of names. He then called me an affair partner. Then all of a sudden, he got up and said,
"It's time for action!"
He was always the one with weird ideas and plans. He asked for my credit card and I did not hesitate. He asked me to walk out of my house and go stay at his place for next 2 days and asked me to keep in touch with Kathy and not let my emotions get the better of me. I did the same. The next morning, he came home and told me that Kathy is married and her real name is Elizabeth. She is married to Mark, an engineer by profession. They do not have any kids and have been married for the last 4 years. I was devastated. I was lied to when I was sleeping with a woman who was lying to me and was cheating her husband. Bill dropped another bombshell as he told me that Elizabeth was a habitual at bars and had been known to be going around with other men. Her husband, being busy at his office, has no clue about his cheating wife. Elizabeth had to pay for her crimes. Bill then let me know what he had done at my place and asked me to continue my ways with her. I called Kathy and asked to meet at our usual place. Meanwhile, Bill said he had some special toys for me to use and walked out saying, "Have fun." Elizabeth came to meet, and as soon as she came, she requested to take her to my place as it has been 2 days without her being nasty with me. As I reached home, I saw some weird toys on my bed. I have seen them in some movies and know that are to be used to tie women. Elizabeth was surprised and seemed quite happy. I quickly took off her clothes and put her in the chains and straps. As soon as I was done, I got a phone call from Bill. I quickly answered and Bill told me that he could see what is going on and is reaching my place in next 2 minutes. Elizabeth asked me to put down the phone and come to her as soon as possible. As I walked towards her, my bedroom door opened and Bill walked in with Mark and another unknown man. Elizabeth was shocked and started crying and even accused that I kidnapped her and tried to assault her. Mark went to her and quietly sat down near her. He looked in her eyes and slowly untied her. He walked towards the unknown man and took an envelope from him and handed to Elizabeth. He then calmly said,
"Elizabeth, you have been served with divorce."
He then pointed towards the unknown man and said that going further any communication with me will be done through his lawyer and not to return back to their home. Elizabeth was crying and quickly got dressed. She ran out. Mark walked up to me and shook my hand and said that he was suspicious about his wife and thanked me for helping him get out of the clutches of his cheating wife. Bill handed him a pen drive. It had the video of me and Elizabeth walking into my bedroom and getting into action. Mark thanked Bill and then invited us for a drink. We took his offer and went out for a drink. As few weeks later, Elizabeth was divorced and out of her house. Mark informed that she had to leave town as he had shared my video with her parents and they have disowned her and told her to never show up at their house. That very day Mark, Bill and I hit the bar and were already down with a ton of drinks. Bill got up and once again started calling me a simp for asking about Elizabeth, and to my surprise Mark joined in and both teamed up to call me names. At one point the both synced and said, "You are the affair partner." Well, I am the affair partner. I shot back stating yes, and I am the AP, and enjoyed every second of it. We enjoyed and later drunk danced in the parking and even got detained by the police. Mark and me started crying on the side of the road and the cops asked Bill, "What is up?" Bill tried to explain the cops as to what has happened. The cops quickly let us go. I did fall in love with Elizabeth and wanted to start a long-term relationship with her, however fate had other plans. I did not get a spouse, but I got 2 friends that I will hold on for rest of my life.